All right, you guys, back with another live stream. Please share, subscribe, hit that like button for me, and let's get to another live. Now, millions of Americans could lose housing aid under Trump's plan. Now, according to reports, it says draft of unpublished rule obtained by ProPublica details plans that will open the doors to full-time work requirements, 2 years limit on living federally supported housing, and stripping aid from families if one household member is in the country illegally. Some 4 million people could lose federal housing assistance under new plans from the Trump administration, according to experts. A review draft of 2 unpublished rule obtained it by the ProPublica. The rule will pave the way for a host of restrictions long cited by conservatives, including time limits on living in public housing work, requirements for many people receiving federal housing assistance, and the stripping of aid from entire families if one member of the household is in the country illegally. The first Trump administration tries and failed to implement similar policies. Renewed efforts have been in the work since early in the president's second term. Now, the documents obtained by the ProPublica lay out how the administration intends to overhaul major housing programs that serve some of the nation's poorest residents with sweeping reforms that experts and advocates warns will weaken the social service net and maintain historically high rents, home prices, and homelessness. These are rules that are going to cause an enormous amount of hardship for millions of people and communities across the country, says Will. Directors of House policies at the center of budget and policies, primarily a non-partisan think Trump is going to cause people to become homeless, kids to be pulled out of their schools, people to lose their jobs. A spokesperson for the Department of Housing and Urban Developments, which draft the rules, declined to comment. The 2 rules obtained by the ProPublica are labeled it as draft and could change before they are officially proposed it at a meeting, according to reports at HUD headquarters this month. Ben, who heads the agency public housing office, says the rules was under review at the Office of Management and Budget, according to HUD officials and the tendencies. OMB typically review proposed rules for compliances with federal standards and consistency with the present policies. The push to adapt the rules is part of a broad effort to roll back federal housing programs under the current administration. Trump budget proposal called for cutting fundings for public housing vouchers, and other rental assistance by 43% in March. HUD and the Department of Homeland Security announced a data sharing agreement targeting so-called mixed status families, in which some family members are eligible for housing assistance and others are not because they are in a country illegally or have another immigration status that makes them ineligible. More recent, HUD reportedly planned it to require all local public housing authorities to identify such families to the federal agencies. Work requirements, in part, a renewed sense of purpose for millions of Americans. In view of HUD Secretary Scott Turner calling warfare a long trap of dependency. So it's calling the warfare a lifelong trap for dependency for many. Now, Turner, according to reports and other seniors, Trump official roles in a joint opted for able-bodied adults welfare should be a short-term hand-up, not a lifetime handout. Federal assistance program support more than 8 million people by providing units in public housing or subsidies that helps cover the costs of rentals on the private market. Under these programs, participants pay a percentage of the rent, generally 30% of their adjusted income, and the government covers the rest. Most of those assisted are elderly, disabled, or children. The average families that live in public housing or receive housing vouchers make less than $2,000 annually and receive benefits for 10 to 12 years. Although non-elderly, non-disabled families typically stayed far shorter, according to HUD data. The first rule will not mandate work requirements and time limits. Instead, it permits local housing authorities and landlords to implement them. According to reports, originally wanted to require those policies, but career staffer at HUD persuaded him to make them voluntary. According to HUD officials, familiars with the matter. Now, the rule will allow local housing authorities and private landlords to impose work requirement time limits and for major federal housing programs, public housing choice vouchers, project-based vouchers, and base rental assistance. The latter three are parts of what is commonly called Section 8. Residents, including both parents and two-parent households, could be required to work up to 40 hours a week. The time limit could be as short as 2 years, after which residents would lose assistance. The time limit will apply to any families in which the household's heads are not elderly or disabled, with few exceptions. Similarly, the work requirements will apply to residents aged 18 to 61 who are not disabled, pregnant, primarily caretakers of young children, college students, or others. Exempted categories, housing providers may allow them to perform job trainings or community service instead of transitional work. Housing providers implementing work requirements will have to support service to residents, but what those services are will be up to the providers. Now, HUD expects 750 public housing authorities and 3,500 landlords to implement work requirements, terms, limits, and response to the new rule. Such provision will likely be adapted first in more conservative parts of the countries. According to reports, it says the new regulations asserts that it will promote the economy, self-sufficiency, and free up subsidized housing for millions of people who qualify for assistance but cannot receive it because of the limited amount of housing aid that the government provides. So it says the housing advocates and research express a different view. It is discussed as work requirements and term limits, but in reality, it's a way to strip families of their benefits, said Deborah, deputy director of the National Housing Law Project, an advocacy group. This is a huge departure from how the HUD program have been run since their inceptions. Now, some 4 million people could lose housing assistance estimate. As we see, this will take a major domino effect for millions of people that have, Section 8 public assistance. Now, it says, according to report, note that most non-elderly, non-disabled households receiving assistance already include one or more people who work, but their jobs often come with limited hours and pay. So even working families could lose their assistance as a result of the rule. There's little evidence that work requirements increase economic self-sufficiency among recipients of housing assistance, according to the resource at NYU studies of other welfare policies such as the mental nutrition assistance programs have largely found that the work requirement do not increase employment but do cause people to lose their assistance. Now, the second proposed rule target mixed status households under long standings of HUD regulations. Such families are permitted to live in a public housing or receive vouchers, but their benefits are so limited so that the ineligible members receive no assistance and the family pays a greater share of the rent. So it says the proposed rule would change that by making mixed status families ineligible for assistance with few exceptions. It will also require a U.S. citizen apply for other currently families. It says, and receive housing assistance to provide documents provided the citizens. So it will also require the U.S. citizen applying for or currently receiving housing assistance to provide documents provided their citizenship. So it says such as birth or naturalization certificate. Now it says the author of the rule argued that it will bring regulation into a greater federal law. So it says the rule could affect 20,000 mixed status families that receive housing assistance according to the HUD analysis of the rule obtained by the ProPublica. 6,000 of those families include children. They live mainly in California, Texas, and New York. The average incomes of a mixed families of 4 is above the federal poverty lines of 32,000. So it said the rule will allow the families to keep their assistance if the eligible members move out, but as most of them are families with children, HUD expect virtually all of them to give up assistance out of fear of the families being separated. The analysis read. So it says the HUD analysis anticipate that private housing units may initially be less vacant as a result of a proposed rule. because of the regulation will kick out households receiving assistance and replace them with fully eligible households. It will increase the government's rental assistance costs by up to 370 million each year, according to the analysis. But HUD will initially increase fundings to local public housing authorities that distribute assistance so that those authorities may have to offer fewer vouchers or leave units occupied. HUD expect. Now, this is going to affect a lot of millions of people. I told y'all this is going to be a domino effect to a lot of us, y'all. Let's roll this clip, man, because I tell y'all, man, we're up against a marking of a beast. And see, the sad thing, I say this to y'all, they don't even have a date. They don't even have a date when things will be back open. Now let's get this show on the way.
Technological capabilities of which we're way ahead of anybody else. There's nobody close. Remain unmatched long into the future. So I'd like to ask Secretary Hegseth to say a few words. He was very much a part of it. And really everybody behind me was. Every one of these people would call me and lobby me. I said, Katie, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I know what you want. She said, that's right, sir. That's what I want. And they got their way. So I just want to congratulate. These are really special people. They're politicians in many ways, but they're great patriots. I think even more so than politicians. So they fought very hard to get it, and it's an honor to give it to Huntsville. Pete, say a few words, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. As usual, right place, right time for the right reason. In your first administration, you established the Space Force at a time when we knew we had to be looking to that domain of space. You also reestablished SpaceCom to ensure that priority was put in place, and you, through the Air Force, independently identified that Huntsville, Alabama was the right place to put it. For other reasons, next administration under Biden, they decided to move it somewhere else. Well, during that time, the DoD Inspector General, the Government Affairs Office, they did their own assessments, and where did they say SpaceCom should go? Huntsville, Alabama. So what you're doing today, Mr. President, is restoring it to precisely where it should be based on what the Space Force, the Air Force, your leadership believes will give us strategic advantage in the future. That is Huntsville, Alabama. We are way ahead in space, but this will ensure we stay leaps and bounds ahead because that's the most important domain. Whoever controls the skies will control the future of warfare. And Mr. President, today you're ensuring that happens. Thank you.
Thank you. Katie, would you like to say something?
Mr. President, we are grateful for your leadership on this and restoring Space Command to its rightful home in Huntsville, Alabama. This delegation has worked together, both chambers, both parties, to make sure that Huntsville was the place that Space Command called home. As was mentioned, obviously the Biden administration chose to make this political. What we want to do is put the safety and security of Americans first. We want to make sure that our war fighter is put first, and we want to make sure.
But you guys, we can't rely on people that don't have the heart of the needs of American people, y'all. Now, I was looking earlier that they don't have no, you know what I mean, no time, you know what I mean, no date when things will reopen. You know, this is kind of bad for us. You know, and it's bad for the whole nation. You know, and whenever a government is shut down and we see Trump is continue to, you know what I mean, deploy National Guards into the cities. Now, be expecting a major crackdown, you know what I mean, nationwide crackdown. Now, I won't be surprised. I said this before, that they're going to bar in people's homes. They're going to ransack the cities because it's just the thought of Trump. We got to take back the streets. and just don't, you know what I mean, get, you know what I mean. I don't want y'all to get too emotion scared because they put fear and they use this kind of scare tactic. You know, so God is moving the fear from us. You know, so you know, expecting, you know what I mean, a meltdown. But you know, I mean, expecting for some good to come, y'all. You know, because we wait for a savior. You see, this is why a savior comes. We always expect for the worst in order for the good to come. This old system, y'all, this old system is dying out. It's not even staying up for so long. The old world must pass. This old system, they can't continue. They can't continue. This old system we see, y'all, is dying out now. Something that's very intelligent, something that's very powerful. This is why I said God used the power and force of his nature. Something very powerful, intelligent that's here. And they know that a divine prophecy is being fulfilled. See, the scientists and scholars have been saying that they know that America's on the way out. They can tell you how things is gonna, you know, unfold, unwind. You don't have to wait 10, 15 years. Let it not be 10, 15 years. The fall I've been telling you guys is within a few days that it can be. Let's go.
Make sure that America continues to lead. And today, Mr. President, you've allowed that to happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. This is a great day for our country, not just for our state of Alabama. We need help in our military. We need to catch up. And as Secretary Hudson said, we're not behind in space, but we know where we're at, and we need to expound on that. Now, this move will save the taxpayers $480 million. It's not going to cost more. It's going to cut $480 million. We have the plans intact. It'll be behind a secure wall in Huntsville, Alabama, at Redstone Arsenal. We have 40,000 people there. We have the FBI there. We have missile defense there. We have NASA, Blue Origin, and SpaceX. It is the perfect place for Space Command. I would tell you today, and I've spoke with the president for the last 3 or 4 years about this. If I thought it needed to go somewhere else because I understand the security of our country, I'd be for that.
I want you guys to listen for a second. Understand there's a great high risk that humanity can just be wiped out. I'm telling you guys something here. Now I'm going, you know what I mean? You see how I'm going with this. They're gonna give you guys false hope. Now the scientists and scholars, those people that tell you guys about comets and these atlas, I'm gonna tell y'all, there's a mothership that's 12 miles long, bigger than a Manhattan city. You might ask, well, how you know? Well, I seen the mothership. It's the size, my brothers and sisters. It's the size of 9 football fields put together. And out of the motherships, you have all the small planes that's controlled. And the mother planet is desired to go wherever it wants to go. Now, for some reason, they want to get close to it. They want to attack it. They want to try everything to bring up a cover up. See, Satan's last trick was to get you to deceive you now. See, this is why I said confusion of the people. But God is here in the midst of time trying to move the confusion out from you and put into them. See, America will have to help herself to the desert of the earth. See, eat America. You know, help yourself to this desert or this earth, which you have actually prepared for us. Now, I want to say, you eat it now. Now I want to say, all praise are due to God, the Lord of the world, for coming on this present day. Now let's go.
But the best place for Space Command is Huntsville, Alabama, because what we have and what it means to this country is going to be so important. So thank you, Mr. President, for this, and we look forward to building a huge Space Command and having the Donald J. Trump Space Command Center in Huntsville, Alabama. Yeah.
Sure. Well, Mr. President, thank you. I'll be very brief here. I lobbied the president hard to put it in Ohio, but he said these people behind us, these Alabamas, are just too powerful and too persuasive. And so it's in Alabama, but as Tommy said, this is exactly the right place for Space Force and Space Command. I think Americans ought to appreciate the fact that you can't win the battle of the future unless you control the skies. The cyber security, the communications, the entire infrastructure of the battle in the 21st century will be in space. It was a visionary move in the first administration for the president to set up Space Force, and I think an equally visionary move to make sure the Space Force is right where it should be in Huntsville, Alabama. Thank you, sir.
Gentlemen, anybody want to say anything you'd like to say?
Mr. President, another promise made, another promise kept. You think about it, Redstone Arsenal is critical to national security. The president said when you were the 45th president, let's do what's right for national security. And today, that's exactly.
Look, you guys, I want to say this for a second. They have no power to subdue the heavens and earth. See, every term must come to a pass. And when a term comes, they cannot be delayed, nor can they decide. See, there was a term for the people of Noah. There was a term of the people of Lot. There was actually a term for the people of Moses. See, it was the Spirit of God that came by a pillar of fire and a pillar of cloud. The Spirit of God directed the people in the time of Moses. But you see, however, they end up in some places that they just didn't like. So you see that they mumble and complain against God. You know, and they said to Moses, I wonder what God just didn't leave us down in Egypt. But see, when you was in Egypt, you got comfortable at eating the fish, the cucumbers, the garlic, the lettuce, those things that was good to you. See, we get comfortable, brothers and sisters, eating the things that America offers. But you see, I want to say to you, most of the things that they offer is poison, chemical use. See, you can actually buy good food if you have the money. So now they take away every assistance See, brothers and sisters, this was like, back in the day when I believe we had Ronald Reagan. Poor Africa was starving. They was starving through hunger. And Russia back then, they had all the food supply. They had everything. But America back then, back when you had Ronald Reagan, those people over in Africa were starving. Imagine, I want you to understand to me. I want you to understand, brothers and sisters. Imagine we seen our people over there in Africa starving. Imagine what we going through now as a people. See, this don't affect one. This don't have nothing to do with color, but this affect all. Many families will be without public assistance. People can't live through being without having public assistance. And see, this is why I said a time has gradually come. A time it's going to come. People will be terrified. Because people never seen a time. And there will be such time. In the day of Noah, it rained. It rained 40 days and up to 40 nights. See, the people, they pay no attention to the sign of this hour, as in the day of Noah. When Noah constructed the ark. See, people pay no attention to the sign of the hour that's taking place. See, every term shall come. When you have an expiration date, when a time had expired, see, what you don't understand, they're going to maintain rule, power. All your life, we live through fear. All our life. But God is moving the fear. And He has put it all on them. See, America will have to, at some point, she'll have to help herself. She'll have to take some responsibility and clean up the mess that we are in. Let's go.
Exactly what we're doing. It's not because of this or that. It's because it's right for national security. You think of the 21 categories that were evaluated to determine what was best for national security. All indicators pointed back to Huntsville, Alabama, and Redstone Arsenal. We have the right people at the right place at the right time. Mr. President, on behalf of the people of the 5th Congressional District and all of Alabama, thank you for keeping your word. Absolutely.
Mr. President, I want to say thank you. And thank you for doing this because it was the right thing to do. When they looked at all the numbers, Huntsville was the place to go. And like you say, it was unfortunately pulled out, but you made it right. So I want to just say thank you again for a grateful nation, and to the state of Alabama, we're very grateful. Thank you. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Throughout history, militaries has always understood that whoever could hold the high ground held the advantage. Space is the ultimate high ground. And what we're doing with moving the Space Command to Huntsville is absolutely critical to our maintaining dominance in that sphere. And it goes hand in hand with what we're trying to do with the Golden Dome and missile defense to defend against anyone.
Now I want y'all to understand something. See, federal political party maintain every possession he has. See, America going to maintain every possession. They're going to hold on to their concession, their merchandise, which they has, you know what I mean? It splits it out, you know what I mean? And see, she ain't going to let up, you know what I mean, to it be plenty of bloodshed. There's that war I've been talking to you guys about in the Middle East. When she don't have power and authority to exercise the Middle East. See, America been a country where she can't keep her nose out of other people's affairs. America, you know, she loved meddling in other people's affairs. She can't keep her nose clean. She got her nose almost in every government affair. And so this is why I say, so no one wants to sit with her. Friendship is speed, her doom. See, in the Civil War, we had 1812, World War I, World War II. But I want to say to my brothers and sisters, this is not that kind of war. It'll be a war that America cannot win. See, this is just not a war that America will have to settle with Russia. But see, can she be victorious against God and against what's coming that they know about? Now, I want to say this. See, a divine intervention was set to destroy her. So can she be victorious in this universal war? We still know that there's still this Cold War between America and Russia and other parts of the world to be reckoned with. See, at some point, Germany, we see it, will have to fight it out at some point. See, it gets to a point you won't have to concentrate on the continent of Europe for your future, or concentrate on your life instead of your death. America can no longer enslave Black American people as they doing in poor communities, in the streets and city of Chicago. You know, Trump deploying, sending ICE agents, terrorizing, ramshacking. They say, well, this is, you know what I mean, where we got these Venezuelans. And we got to go and take back the streets now. You know, I say, It's getting to that point that even our black people is being snatched up. Latinos asking for help. It's getting crazy by the minute. It's getting crazy by the second. It's getting crazy by the hour. Let's go.
One else who tries to enter that sphere. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. And obviously, national defense is a huge issue. And when you look at the scores, Alabama was number one. And for political reasons, it was moved out of our state. But, Mr. President, thank you for making priorities the defense and the warfighter and the safety of this nation. And in the big, beautiful bill, that Golden Dome will be built in Huntsville, Alabama. And we're grateful for that. Thank you. Listen,
The one big, beautiful bill was to destroy a lot of middle-class American people. See, when the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor, that's a big problem we have. And only rich can prosper, the poor can't. See, there was a poor man named Lazarus. See, no one came to him. See, no one aided Lazarus. See, brothers and sisters, no one that came to us. You see, no one tried to aid us. Do you know if we go to America, ask for $1 billion, she'll turn a deaf ear to us? See, something folding, my brothers. It's something that's unwinding itself. The wicked can't continue to divert God's plan, purpose. But the wicked think that they are mightier than God. The wicked think that they can thwart his plan and purpose until he comes who right it is through. You know, never no more and never no more will the earth be let out to these non-owners. See, prove to me whether you black, white, red, yellow, brown. Prove to me that they showed you and I that they was never successful. Even if we tried them. They turned a deaf ear to 1 million of us. And see, this is our pain. But this is why God says, I will release you. I will heal you. Because the Lord, He's the governor of the earth. And if he don't like you govern this earth, He's going to move you off this earth. See, we see an old world passing. The old world can't stand. And see, we see a new world that's coming. This old system dying out, we see, fading. And to some point, America's going to fall. See, look at the stock markets. When the stock market is going up and down, people would now think that everything's all right. You actually think everything's all right. But there's only a loo before the storm. And the storms can be delayed. In every hour that it can be delayed. But it's entirely up to them to be able to make good this day. They have to make good this day. They have to make end meet. Now, you know what I mean? I say this, brothers. They got every eye open. See, a beast, he got every eye. Every eye is open for them. They see what's coming. They know a prophecy is being fulfilled. They know that God is here, offering us to sit us in heaven at once. And since hell being a appointed place, and since they are willing to take you there, he's willing to take the fallers into the fall of America. Now let's go.
As chairman of the Armed Services Committee, I care very much about what's most important for our national security. And the president held a nationwide competition to determine where we should have this command. If y'all remember, at the end of that competition, where Alabama came in first, there was a lot of complaints from the other states who did not place well. He said, we'll do it over with new criteria to accommodate your concerns. Alabama came in first in that second competition. The Secretary of the Air Force reviewed the results, said it was fair, and the president named Huntsville. It was the Biden administration that decided to make it political, even though his own Secretary of the Air Force said it was a fair competition and it should be in Huntsville. So I want you to know I appreciate this president.
Now I want y'all to think, man. These are the House of Representatives, owned by Republicans. Y'all not even y'all deserving, because Trump can open up the government if he wants to. But y'all not thinking. I've been telling you guys this. He got the Jeffrey Epstein files all written on him. Trump don't care nothing about no one well-being. Because if America is first, then you won't have no problem opening up the government. You're so busy worrying about that one ugly, big, beautiful bill that's going to, have major tax cuts on health care. As they're already putting a stop, public assistance. They're putting a stop on rent. See, the more the government shut down, y'all, the more these things going to disappear. Now, I don't want people pointing fingers on me, but there's a lot of YouTuber people talking about this man. But I say, how can we find a solution to the problems? How can we find a solution to racial justice? How can we find a solution to police brutalities? There have been no political issue that can be solved. I don't care if you vote for a Democrat, Republican. It don't matter anymore. Because neither party that seeks the presidency is faced with the fact of saving lives. They prove that to you. Everything is a snatch. It's a gimme. I'm telling y'all, when Satan here to steal, kill, and destroy. Now, how long do you think this government is going to be shut down? Before all hell this break out. Because all hell is going to, you know what I mean, break loose. You'll see chaos. You'll see people. When, you know what I mean, they know how to go out here. We seen the looters. We seen the looting. They know how to go out here. They know how to do by anything necessary to provide for their families. And what Trump is doing, y'all, we're on the brink of a civil war. You supposed to be like, if we not prepare, y'all, for battle, right? We looking on our left, we got China and Russia. Trump is setting a stage where he sent military troops to fight against American people. But we're not prepared to fight against China, Russia, if they was to invade us. So I say this, y'all gotta use y'all discernments here, man, because I'm telling you. You know what I mean? The more we see things the way it is, the more we see the shutdown. I told y'all already. Once the government shut down, it's gonna be hard to get things reopened. Cause they doing this, y'all. Because once, you know what I mean, weeks and things go by, and once we see a month go by, that's when Social Security is going to be really on the table. You're going to already see Rick. You're going to already see, you can just kiss EBT. All that stuff is gone, y'all. How long they prolong this, how long they want to prolong this. And, you know what I mean? It's like the Democrat, you know, they're asking for one thing. And it's like the Democrat, they know what's on that ugly, you know what I mean, big, beautiful bill. They know what's on that bill, man. They know. And you know what? Things are staying the way it is. Let's go.
Standing up and being strong and saying he's going to make this right and put it where it rightfully belongs. That's Huntsville, Alabama. So thank you all very much. You are.
Just want to say for a second, man. The Democrat asking to keep the Obamacare, y'all. Right? Keep our health care alive. Because y'all don't understand the Republicans trying to, you know what I mean, destroy health care. Just in that one big, ugly, beautiful bill, y'all. I'm telling y'all, man. And see, what the Democrats ask is not too much. Is to keep the Obamacare, keep the health care under the Obama, you know what I mean, care. So Obamacare is going out, y'all. And so neither party seeks the presidency or saving the life of American people, y'all. Y'all about to find out, man. Y'all about to find out. These I want y'all to understand something. These are House of Representatives that's in the House. They can open up this economy. Trump could just be like, you know what? We can get if we get a couple of Democrat votes, we can open up the economy. But y'all don't see when you don't see no domino effect, when you actually see when it's time that you feel the domino effect, especially when it comes to our Medicare. I'm telling you, you're gonna feel the domino effect. Trump is only to destroy, you know what I mean, your tax season. When you start filing for taxes, when you start seeing that you're gonna have to pay, you know what I mean, Medicare, yes, that's gonna be a price on it. You know, it's a price on things, man. It's a price on things, y'all. You know, Trump can easily get this reopened if he wanted to. But he got that Epstein list all on him, man. They're not, man, look, y'all. They're not finna open up this no time soon. A lot of people gonna suffer, y'all. We're gonna have to go out there and look, man. If it gets to a point where you low on food and you got a house of 7, 8, 9, 10 children in the home, look, man, we gotta go out here by all means. You know? By all means. You know, I say this, man. There was always a band of the Israelites. There's always a band ready to fight. Then you had other band that didn't want to fight, y'all. We are at this point. They're not making things easy no more, y'all. They snatching everything. They popping up everything. Let me give you a verse in Isaiah chapter 2:19. The people will flee to the cage and the ground from the fearful presence of the Lord and the splendor of his majesty when he rise to shake the earth. I know y'all heard about these bunkers, these underground tunnels and all. Look, y'all, there's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to hide. They playing this, y'all. They playing this by ear. Because what's coming, believe me, they're playing everything by ear. You know, you gotta understand something. I want y'all to understand. Satan, when it says in Revelation, Satan will reign after 1,000 years. You know what I mean? He will continue to take another crack at it. Look, y'all, they're playing this by ear. Everybody talking about what's approaching, but they want y'all to believe all the lies you could be told. See, the people don't do no good that's on social media. The people, you got a lot of these meteorologists, scientists, they so call themselves. They tell you guys about a comet and an atlas, right? How is an atlas could be 12 miles long, longer than a Manhattan city. They're only doing this to get paid by YouTube. See, I'm gonna teach you guys the truth. A lot of people waking up now. They know that the mothership is here. See, the mothership is like a new human-made planet. Revelation 21, there was a new Jerusalem to come. The mothership is like a new human-made planet. What's coming is real gigantic, big. It's like, have you seen Independency? But they see a lot of people waking up, man. See Satan, in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 9 and 11, Satan will deceive as possible many if he can. And see, verse 11, see, God will send a powerful illusion so that people believe all the lies that they heard, all the lies that they just been told. See, you'll believe that, oh, this is a comet. You believe that this is a atlas. But a lot of people is seeing that this is none other than mothership. This is why all the planes come out of the great motherships and into the earth. There have been already multiple eyewitnesses seeing, reporting. There's been a whole government cover-up. They know how to get into our solar systems. I say this. A terrible time is gradually approaching. A time so terrible that it will make children's gray head. Let's go.
School shooting, but we also have thousands and thousands of schools that run perfectly. You know, they talk about you can do things construction-wise, and that's really I think nobody knows more about construction than me. You can build the construction doors, you can build what they call safety doors, where they lock on the outside, the inside, and every place else. Well, but if one of these lunatics happens to get through, then the police can't get in. Then they're looking for keys all over the place, and it takes them a lot of disadvantages to doing, spending billions and billions of dollars and actually making it safer in some way for some of these lunatics that we're dealing with. But I don't think so. I've thrown out the concept. We have great teachers that love our children. The parents love the children. Teachers love the children too. And if you took a small percentage of those teachers that were in the military, that were distinguished in the military, that were in the National Guard, et cetera, and you let them carry.
Yeah, the thing of it is, man, America, they're offered this ideologically, this sexual indoctrination. Most families we see is puzzled as to where to send their children for schooling, because we see there's no all-girls schools as they once were. We see the schools is filled with homosexuals. The prison, the houses, the federal penitentiary, are filled by dozens of homosexuals. See, the 18th chapter of the Revelation says she had become a habitation of devils, a home for every evil person, a place where evil is accepted. We're at a time that children is not even promised nowadays to make it. They're teaching that it's okay that girls can be with girls, boys can be with girls. And the families is so puzzled today as to where to send their children for schooling. Because you see, they really don't want this American educational system. Nowadays, schools and colleges and universities is being set on fire. And the teachers nowadays are in great danger. You see, when it comes to that, their schools, textbooks, and materials, it's all set on fire. Because why? Because our kids and children They don't really want this old world education system. It's a new world that they want. So in their madness, they are destroying their house, schools, college, universities, their textbooks. It's like in the story of Samson, and they got to that point, Samson did not care whether it be a building left behind him or not. See, Samson was willing to get even with his mockers, his accusers. So America shows you they don't believe in no democracy. See, they didn't want two presidents. They didn't want two governments. They wanted one president, one government to rule. And during that time, we had, George Washington, a fugitive from England. America is nothing but a corporation. They fall under executive order. See, Trump, y'all might think he's the head, but he's falling under some executive order. There's someone that's going to probably be higher than him. That's probably calling the shots. Let's go.
That's something that a lot of people like. I sort of liked it. Have to be studied, but they're trained. They know about weapons. You can't do it with every teacher because most teachers don't know, and But I always thought that would be an alternative. But it just we've had a lot of instances. Other countries have also. They have different kinds of problems than we have, but we do have. There's something going on. And it's a bad thing. Yes, please.
Haven't spoken with President Putin.
Yeah, I don't want to. I have learned things that will be very interesting. I think in the next few days you'll find out.
Consequences if there isn't some type of announcement of a meeting with President Putin and President Zelensky.
Yeah, there will be. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see what they do and what happens. I'm watching it very closely. Last week they lost 7,000 between the two countries. 7,313 soldiers, to be somewhat exact, for no reason whatsoever. And they're Russian and they're Ukrainian, but they're soldiers. I want to see it end. Yeah.
You decided you're definitely going to send National Guard troops to Chicago?
I didn't say when, but the answer is, look, Chicago's very interesting because I watched Pritzker get up and say we don't need help, we're safe. But 2 weeks ago they had 6 people murdered, and they had 24 people hit by bullets. Last week, as you know, was 7 people, 24 people hit.
Look, y'all, this is why I say America will never become great again. We live in a cursed country. We live in where we see murder, robbery, rape, drug addiction. Drug addicts are put on the streets, and we got a world leader that don't really care when it comes to homelessness. We got to go and Washington take back the streets. We got to get these nasty, hoodlum, homeless, dirty, stinking people out of our streets. This is your president. Now, let it make sense. He's not in for the hearts of the people, man. I want y'all to think for a little bit. Trump has not did nothing for the American people. It's like when it comes to Republican Party, they doing anything to cover up this man. So a time has come. There's no more delays. There's nothing being postponed. A time has gradually come So it don't concern me how. See, I told y'all already that they were going to shut this down. I told y'all. Everything I told y'all, I was right to tell y'all, to inform y'all that they don't care about you. Hell, they're gonna take your Social Security away if they can. They know something gradually is finna to unfold itself. Something is finna reveal itself. Something that is very intelligent, that's into another world, that's coming here. This is why God has the power of force. This is why, you know what I mean, the creator of the universe create the orbit, the things that floats in this planet. This is why he has power. Let's go.
And 7 people died. And then over the last 2 days, that was the crown jewel. They had, I guess, 9 killed, 9 or 10 killed, and 50 hit with bullets. And you have this governor, Get Up, who's a terrible governor. Probably he and Gavin Newsom would be probably the 2 worst and most naive. They're naive. Either they're naive or they're very untruthful. And he'll say, we don't want any protection. We don't need. So in the last 3 weeks, he's lost almost 20 people killed. There's no place in the world, including you can go to Afghanistan, you can go to places that you would think of. They don't even come close to this. Chicago is a hellhole right now. Baltimore is a hellhole right now. Parts of Los Angeles are terrible. If we didn't put out the fires, and I mean the other fires, the bullet fires, they didn't do a good job with it. They should have had the water coming down, like I said. You know, we had to release the water. We had to go in and release the water to LA. It's so badly run. But if I didn't send the National Guard into Los Angeles, I would be making an announcement today. I'd be talking about Huntsville, and I'd simultaneously be saying, by the way, the Olympics is not coming to Los Angeles. If we didn't do that,
Look, Trump is bringing in force. See, to come and you know what I mean, they come in with this martial law, this insurrection act. You know, and allow, you know what I mean, allow Trump to come in to deploy martial law. See, a lot of people, you know what I mean, will allow Trump to send National Guard into the cities. Exactly. A lot of people will probably think he's anointed. He's the Christ. He's the coming Christ. But look, y'all. A lot of y'all may praise Trump. See, I told y'all, we don't want white folks pointing fingers on us, because there's people already saying that white people hate us. See, the thing is, we hate what's evil. See, evil is now being recognized. Evil got to be destroyed. The wickedness, the evil doing, got to be wiped out. The world we see, the society we live, we see murder, robbery, rape, drug adultery are the only laws and order that we see is respected. When you got police, detective, and FBI all here, but the gruesome, savage acts is committed right between their eyes and ears. Now, all these ICE agents that they have and hire, I won't be surprised Trump is hiring white supremacy, Ku Klux Klan. See, when people already waking up that there's no longer an old world, an old system can continue, you know what I mean, to stand any longer. An old system that's got to eventually die at some point. See, when I say Satan and his kingdom is divided, whenever a nation divided and we see Satan and his kingdom divided, that kingdom cannot stand. And when Satan and his kingdom is divided, his time has come. There's a time approaching that these people, they're not dumb by far. See, 90% of the Bible is directed to America. Read the 17 and 18 verse of the Revelation. I mean, I want to say something to y'all for a second. How much did people that didn't believe Christ, but the people, it's like they voted for Barabbas. Here's a man that was in the insurrection. But here's a man, Trump. He kind of favored in a way of Barabbas. 2016, we can go back to the insurrection, January 16. Trump supporters stormed to the Capitol. Then after that, later down this road, who actually thought that Trump would be nominated. He was facing legal troubles, 34 counts. People are like, nah, we're going to vote for Trump. We want Trump. See, they didn't want God. They didn't want, people didn't want to vote for God. They wanted to vote for Trump. All the people is praising Trump. But I've been telling you all this time, he don't care about his people. This don't have nothing to do about American people. This got a lot to do of what he is in. The Epstein files cannot go away. But as long as the government shut down, this something that gives people to talk about. This will have a lot of people to talk about. But the truth of the matter, when it comes to the Epstein list files, that will never go away. They've been trying to sweep that on the rug for so long. Trump even said in the press, you still talking about the Epstein list? You talk about a man that's deceased, that's irrelevant. Come on, y'all. I just want y'all to read between the lines here. Of course, the rich, the power, the elite, they're gonna use power. They're gonna empower. They're gonna use tactic. And we should not be in fear. God is not trying to make us to be in fear. Because you have to be so, you know what I mean, vigilant. Because God is not putting us in fear anymore of the oppressors. You got to be open mind, self-awareness. God is moving to fear today. We don't have to live through fear. Let's go.
We didn't do that. And even the sheriff, the top law enforcement person in Los Angeles said, we could not have handled it without them. So that's what he said. Well, we're going in. I didn't say when, we're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When we lose, when 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks, and 75 are shot with bullets. So let me tell you a little story about a place called DC, District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Everyone likes you anyway. They probably wouldn't do it. But it's so dangerous. And there are people in this audience that you've suffered greatly. There are people in this audience that have been mugged and hurt badly, and they don't want to talk about it. Maybe you were very brave in talking about it. You made quite an impression on a lot of people. I appreciate it. But there were other people in this room that have been hurt very badly just walking down the street in D.C. Washington, D.C. is a safe zone right now. It's a safe city. The restaurants are open. They're booming. You can't get a restaurant. New restaurants are announcing that they're going to be open. This took place in 12 days. Now it's 15 days, but 3 days ago it became what's known as a safe zone. It's a safe city. And this city was really bad.
How Washington was bad when you have the majority of homeless people in Washington. Washington was being overcrowded. See, look, y'all. This is how the devil works. It started to be too many people in the cities. Pharaoh even had that thought. We got to kill some of them. See, America lived with violence, crime. But never been a solution to solve the problem, the mess that we are in. I want y'all to see how the streets looking. Tacities. You know what I mean? The cruelty. The affliction. You think that they trying to put a stop to the murdering crimes we see? You have escalations running very high here. I say this to my brothers and sisters, we are in trouble, y'all. We have not put ourselves in this kind of situation. When I said that there's no future, and we all sitting in the crossfire, because there's no future here. When she don't have a future for herself. A government shutdown is a sign that eventually they're gonna have to pack up, because the old system is dying, y'all. This market and the beast system is dying. Something is unfolding. Something that I've been saying is unwriting. And at some point, they're going to have to pack up. Let's go.
Really, really bad. We took 1,600 people out, hardcore criminals that will not be coming back anytime soon. And we're very proud of it. You know, to have our nation's capital lose every week. You know, it was like years, many years, where every single week somebody was killed for many consecutive weeks. This went on for years. And then we had, last week it was announced that nobody was killed last week. And I made that announcement in front of a very distinguished leader of a country. And I'm saying proudly, ladies and gentlemen, nobody was killed in Washington, D.C. this week. He looked at me like, what's that all about? I said, yeah, we had a little bit of a crime problem, and we don't have a crime problem in Washington anymore. And the mayor has been very helpful, and the police commissioner has been very helpful, and it's been a great team. And I would love to have Governor Pritzker call me. I'd gain respect for him and say, we do have a problem, and we'd love you to send in the troops, because you know what? The people, they have to be protected. I saw it today on one of your networks, not a friendly network.
Pop quiz for anyone who's been in a car accident. True or false? Most cases end up settling anyway, so you should accept the insurance company's.
Exact, really the opposite, I would say. Very unfriendly network. And they interviewed about 12 people on this morning. Most of them were African American, who were black. And they were saying, please, please, please let the president send it. These were people from Chicago. Please, we need help. We need help. We can't walk outside. We're petrified.
And you see that? You see how black people in Chicago being pacified because Trump is trying to dehumanize that population, going to the poor communities, and he held some of these black citizens hostage. It was hostage. You know, I can imagine when they went and terrorized the cities, the buildings, and ransomed homes, children's unclothed. This was a show that they were going to target black civilians, black people. Now, it's just the same as they doing, you know what I mean, Latinos, Hispanics. See, they treat us worse than any human being on the face of this earth. Now, I'll say this, you think God should, at his mercy, be a merciful God, to have mercy? On the people that hold power over 6,000 years. That why should we as a people have any sympathy? When they're about to get every chastisement that they deserve. Why should anyone have sympathy when white America is wicked beyond your and my imagination? Let's go.
If the governor of Illinois would call me up, I would love to do it. Now, we're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to protect this country. And that includes Baltimore. I saw where Governor Moore was asking me to take a walk down the street of Baltimore. Well, Baltimore is a very unsafe place. It's rated number 4 in the city, one of the most unsafe places anywhere in the world. But you know, we took care. This was a beautiful thing that happened in Washington because we showed that it could be done. And this wasn't just sending big, strong guys, and they are big and they are strong. You know, we had a great decision from the Supreme Court that had to do with sort of talent. It had to do with you are put down based on merit. You can hire based on merit. So merit for a soldier or for a policeman is strong, physically fit, something, you know, having a certain ability. Not a person that is woke and got the job through woke, but wasn't strong enough to lift a gun out of the holster, et cetera, et cetera. No, I looked at the police, as you know, last week I went over, we had a meeting with, there had to be 300 people, and they were all very impressive looking. And when the bad guys see them, they're not going to do a thing. And so I'm very proud of Washington. It serves as a template, and we're going to do it elsewhere. But Chicago is certainly going to be high. I would love to have him call. I would love the governor of Illinois. I'd be honored to take his call. All he has to do is say, sir, we need help. It's out of control. And everyone knows it is. He's not kidding anyone. I would love to have, I would say, Governor Moore call, because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore criminals. You know, we took many people off the streets of Washington, D.C. They're hardcore. They're not going to be good. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals, frankly. They were born to be criminals. And they're tough and mean. And they'll cut your throat. And they won't even think about it the next day. They won't even remember that they did it. And we're not going to have those people. Washington, D.C. is now a safe zone. It's a safe place.
What Trump is talking about, he's talking about the Venezuelans. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people, you know what I mean, under the Biden administration, you know what I mean, we had, when it came to the Proposition 42, man, we had a whole problem. People, you know what I mean, the border was open. You had people coming all through it. You know what I mean? So, mainly Trump was talking about these, you know what I mean, Venezuelans that's here. Now, I want to say this to you guys, that a lot of people's situation is different. So a lot of people want to come here to the United States and make themselves, you know what I mean, a welcome. I mean, America, see, when it comes to Christopher Columbus, ever since they founded America, they stole this land. And they should have no rights to even say who can come here, who cannot. At this point, you should be quiet about saying anything about who can come here and who cannot. I think they should be quiet, because it's not right for them to say anything when all the evil and blood that been on their hands, that now they are accountable. That there's a tab put, and you being, you know what I mean, brighten up for the count. You know, the sad thing is a tab put on these people. And when there's a tab put, see, every time should be fulfilled. Every prophecy that was said, was written, will be fulfilled. A revelation at some point will be fulfilled. It will fulfill itself. Prophecy will fulfill itself. Let's go.
place, and you can walk, Katie, you can walk right down the street with, by the way, one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen, which is her husband, who was a football player for like 11 years in the NFL. He's a big person. But big doesn't mean anything when they have guns and when they have knives and everything else that they have, right? But you can walk right down the street, even by yourself, and you're totally safe. Washington, D.C. is a great thing. Yes, ma'am, please.
They say it's what's on the inside that matters.
Working on Democratic leaders across the country to work with you on crime. Do you see your efforts here in DC, including, for example, working with Mayor Bowser here as a model for bringing more bipartisanship in matters not only with crime but also issues that matter to everyday American people's lives?
So Mayor Bowser's been great. She could have taken the thing, oh well, and then after I clean it up, they'll take credit for it. You know what they do is they take credit. Like, we cleaned up Los Angeles. We did a great job there. And it was overwhelming what was going on. And again, the police chief made a statement that we could not have done, there's no way they could handle it. You saw what was happening out there. It was going to be a disaster. We stopped it cold. If we didn't do that, would have been a very sad day. And you know, remember, we have the Olympics, we have the World Cup, we have all these things coming, and we have 250, all of these things coming. But I watched Newsom get up and say he's doing the great. He's not. We're the ones that did it, and that's okay, whatever it takes. But the main thing is we. But he got up and said, "We did it."
We got the old USA. The whole United States of America is falling apart. America is unraveling. But I say, why have America fallen? Why? Because this nation had become a habitation of devils. You know, a home where you see murder, robbery, drugs. Is accepted. She become a land where evil is practiced. It's accepted. Regardless, we got police, detective, FBI are all here. But these gruesome, savage acts we see is committed right between their eyes and ears. Houston, there's a problem in Houston. There's a serial killer. Texas shootings. Children is shot. Children is missing. Children is unalive. We got a problem, y'all. Let's go.
Well, he didn't want us there, and he's going to need us again because it's starting to form again. I see it. It's starting to form again. You know, we have to maintain. It's like maintenance on an airplane. You can buy it, but you have to maintain it. And if you don't maintain it, a good plane becomes very unsafe very quickly. So it's an honor to do it. It's a lot of presidents wouldn't do what I'm doing. I don't need this heat, but when I watched television last night and I'm watching the news and I see that 9 people were killed in Chicago and 54 were badly wounded with bullets, I say, that's not this country. We have to do something. And I do say this, I say this very much. I'm not speaking to anybody but them right now. I would love to receive calls from governors and mayors saying they need help. We'll help them. We have a lot of people. We have a great force. We have a great military force. You know, Pete will tell you that when I was running for office, and this was a big headline, I think, you know, probably got me a couple of votes, but you couldn't sign people in the military. Nobody wanted to join the military, the Army, Air Force, anything.
The white people don't want to join the military. See, black people, we fought. We fought these white man's wars. We saved the independence. We fought the Germans. We went into Mexico and Philippines and other parts. We went and fought the Japanese. But Black people suffered. Black people blood was shed. When people realize that we're not standing up anymore, fighting y'all war to save your independence. Now they're gonna try to bring jobs and things back. Y'all gonna, you know what I mean? Y'all gotta understand. They gotta at some point, if they open things, they gotta say capitalism. But I doubt that things will look like how it used to be. America will never become great again. And mark my words, she will never become great again.
The Navy, Marine, Space Force, Coast Guard, we never forget Coast Guard because they've done such a great job. Never. But nobody wanted to join any of them. We were way below what we wanted. Every single one. The closest was the Marines, whatever that is. You'll explain that to me. But the closest was the Marines. But every service was way down, way down. And then I got elected, and our country's the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. Everybody's talking about the USA. They're talking about the job that we're doing. Everybody, we're the best economy.
You see, what they don't say, that when you see fire eruption and the fuel is boiling, and see, it's going to boil down to the last dread. See, when fire comes, see, this is a time of you as an end of power. Believe it, or let it alone.
Economy, we have a very, very important decision being made by the Supreme Court because our country is the richest, the strongest, the most powerful, but if for some reason some liberal court, I'm talking about the court that just ruled, where even an Obama judge voted in favor of us, which I gave him a compliment yesterday, as you know. I said that took great courage. But it's a liberal court, and it's going up to the Supreme Court, who I think have been incredible people. I think they've made very wise decisions. But the tariff question, because without the tariffs, this country is in serious, serious trouble. We've taken in almost $17 trillion of investment is coming in. Most of it is coming because of tariffs. And if for some reason somebody wanted to be politically correct, I actually think it's unpolitically correct. I think politically correct is to approve it because there's nothing so popular as what's happened to our country. Our country.
No, I never served in the military because my parents always told me you have no business fighting in a white man's war. Black people, we have no business fighting a white man's war that they didn't create and start. See, troublemaking and cause. The people to be where they at. The troublemaking they cause. See, America's a top dog, number one bulldozer. See, a bulldozer keep her nose sniffling till they can sniff out every affairs, you know what I mean? They getting every government affairs. Governmental affairs. But she's a number one on the list of God's radar. She's public enemy number one. Let's go.
Country is doing so well. But we had a liberal court gave us a very shocking ruling. And that ruling is basically saying that the trillions of dollars that are pouring into our country, putting us in a position like no country is anywhere in the world, that they'd like to see us that taken away. By the way, a lot of the people behind that lawsuit, that particular, are from foreign countries. I might add.
There's a video that is circulating online now of the White House where a window is open to the residents upstairs and somebody's throwing a big bag out the window. Have you seen this?
No, that's probably AI generated. So actually, you can't open the windows. You know why? They're all heavily armored and bulletproof.
A fake video.
Well, it's got to be because I know every window up there. The last place I'd be doing it is that because there's cameras all over the place, right? Including yours. No, but every window, I've never seen a window that's. In fact, my wife was complaining about it the other day. She said, "Love to have a little fresh air come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof." And number one, they're sealed, and number two, each window weighs about 600 pounds. You have to be pretty strong to open them up. No, that has to be. Where was the window? Let me see. Which is the window?
It looks like this is on the 15th Street side, I think. So right here.
Yeah, those windows are sealed. Those windows are they're all sealed. You can't open them. It's the kind of thing they do. And one of the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad. If something happens really bad, just blame AI. But also they create things, you know, it works both ways. If something happens that's really bad, maybe I'll have to just blame AI. But there's truth to it because I see so many phony things. I saw something as I was growing up from the time I was a baby till now. I said, who did that? It was AI generated. So it's a little bit scary, to be honest with you. But those windows are all very heavily sealed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to follow up with what you were saying regarding that federal appellate court that ruled against you and your administration as it relates to your ability.
Well, they ruled against our country, the court, and they ruled against us before. It's a very liberal court. Well,
Now, I want y'all to think. How long do you think that we have? See, let this not be another 10 years. You know, things is gradually approaching. And see, these pledges are Visit America. Storms after storms. America is surrounded with the judgment of Allah God. And the four great judgment is hail, rain, snow, earthquakes. Too much rain will destroy towns and cities. Rain will destroy the Nile sea storm. Rain destroy railroads, truck lines, bed and bridges. Too much rain will destroy pure drinking water. Rain destroyed life for people. Too much rain will bring reptiles out of farmlands and into the cities, fighting people in their home. See, rain is a destruction work. Earthquakes can destroy towns and cities. But nevertheless, they are all here. Let's go.
Oh, it certainly is. It certainly is.
Exactly, what's along ideological lines, 7-4.
Well, except that we actually got one of the Obama judges that was appointed by President Obama voted in favor of the tariffs because he felt it was imperative for our country to thrive and survive even. And I gave him credit. I said, you know what? That took a lot of courage for him to do it because you don't see that often.
My question is, I imagine, I suspect you're going to appeal that all the way to the Supreme Court.
Well, we already have, yeah. In fact, we're doing something else. We're going to be going to the Supreme decision. I mean, look, the financial fabric of our country, we're a rich, incredible country right now. And we're able to, other countries use tariffs on us for years. And we never did. I did a lot during my first term, but then we had COVID and we had to focus on other things. You couldn't be tariffing Italy, Spain, France, as they were dying by the thousands and millions. But we did with China, and China paid us billions and billions of dollars. And I started the process, but then I had to end it a little bit because of COVID. We focused on that. But no, it's a very important decision. And frankly, if they make the wrong decision, it would be a devastation for our country. We've taken in trillions of dollars. And by the way, all these countries signed agreements. As an example, they're all happy. Everybody's happy. But some whack.
See, what they don't tell you, that they took millions of dollars from American people. We're about to see a Great Depression. And the thing is, the sad thing, people they ain't gonna know how to act, y'all. Million America is gonna be without, the supplements, the nutrition. Many people are going to be, without public assistance. And the hard thing, I've been trying to get you guys to understand what's going to be in for your taxes. It'll be hard, y'all. This is why I say this. Whether they in disagreement with separation, it's like a lot of people see a new world coming in here, and that we got to be prepared for a new world. Because the old world going to die out, y'all. Eventually, this system, it got to die, y'all. It's everything in the system. It got to eventually die out. See, a new world can't come unless the old world dies. The old system got to die. History can never repeat itself. The injustice that been targeted against Black Americans can never repeat itself. See, there's a God of justice that's here. See, there's a God of freedom. There's a God of equality. See, don't believe all the deception, lies. See, the devil will despise himself before they tell you a comment, before they tell you a atlas. Yeah, they will trick you. Before actually you see the mothership, the ship that's 12 miles long, the size of a Manhattan city. See, God is not afraid to come into a city near you. And I've been saying, out of these mothership is the small planes. See, they know what you're thinking about. See, they want to war. See, they want to get close at it. They want to war with it. But if it did get close enough, it would be destroyed instead. See, the white man, they got to know that this is not a plane to be played with. Because other of these mother planes come out from this mothership. So the mother planes is not like their little bullets and missiles. But every 6 months of the year, it goes through Earth gravity, could produce its own hydrogen and oxygen. She can desire to go wherever she desires, where she want to go. Let's go.
Job put in a lawsuit. It went before a very liberal court, and the liberal court ruled, it's 11, they ruled 7-4, with one of the most liberal of them all voting in our favor because they're patriots. I think I give tremendous credit to that judge. And now it's going to the Supreme Court. Now we're going to be asking for early admittance. We're going tomorrow, and we're going to ask for an expedited ruling because, when you look at the stock market's down today, the stock market's down because of that. Because the stock market needs the tariffs. They want the tariffs. If you look at AI, all of those, all of that money that's going to be invested, trillions and trillions of dollars, the biggest thing, bigger than the internet, I suspect. It's the internet plus 3 or 4 other things combined. We are leading very substantially with AI. We're leading because of tariffs. We're leading because of talent, and this is where they'd like to be. But without the tariffs, we wouldn't have a chance because we wouldn't be able to protect those investments of the companies coming in. So if you took away tariffs, we could end up.
Guys, listen up, man. The economy is falling apart. Stock market is going up. A lot of people would be thinking that, well, everything will be all right. But there's only Lou before the storm. And I've been telling you guys the storm can only be delayed in every hour and day that it can be delayed. I have to be entirely up to them to make good this day. I have to make end meet. I have to make good meet. Now, these is houses of representatives, Republicans. They own the house. Democrats don't own nothing. Republican Party own the House. So if they want to open things, they can go right on and open it, no problem. But I just want to show you guys that it's bigger than what everybody think it is. You know, it had a lot to do with the Epstein list, man. You know, and nobody knows how long government gonna be shut down. Once it's shut down, it's hard to be, you know what I mean, thinking that it's going to be reopened. It's this. We got to understand that, you know what I mean, the government shut down because there's a lot of things, you know what I mean, that's involved. And the more we see the government shut down, the more things get real bad for us. Let's go.
Being a third world country. That's how big the ruling. So we're asking for an expedited ruling.
As a backstop to that, President, you have a Republican-controlled Congress. You control the House. You control the Senate.
Yeah, but we don't have 60 votes. We don't have 60 votes. I'd love to do that. Oh, if we had 60 senators, if we got the 60 votes, we would get them. But we need 60 votes, and we need, a certain number in the House. We'd get. I think we'd get. I don't know. We have about 5 of them here. Would everybody agree with me on tariffs? Without tariffs, we're a different country. We have taken in so much money, and here's the thing. We signed a deal with Japan. They're paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. We signed a deal with South Korea. We signed a deal with the European Union. We signed a deal with Europe. And those countries.
I'm going to say it like this. They can run, but they can't hide. A man reap what he sowed. Now, we all heard about the bunkers. We all heard about, there would be a time that those who pile up riches, counting every penny after penny, thinking that it was there. See, we had a traumatic time that no time gonna pass. See, a day with the Lord is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is merely like a day. No time pass with God. But when the day comes, it's gonna be kept. And there's a time that was set with Noah, Lot, and Moses. There's a time set with America. See, when she comes to her aspiration, there's a time set. See, the old world got to be exposed. It got to be seen. All people got eyes. There's a new world that's gradually coming in because this old system can be no more. The same, tactics. fear is what we have been living with. Because there's a fear that we shouldn't fear anyone but the one that can destroy the body and soul. See, they should be afraid of the one that can destroy their body and soul. See, it's fear what kept us back. See, I told y'all there was a time that was going to come. Nothing surprised me of how the government was going to shut things down. Expecting for a why banks be shut down. Y'all got to start thinking and getting your money out of the banks. Because there's a lot of banks now. There's a lot of banks will be closed. I'm gonna say this, y'all start paying attention what's been happening, what's finna happen. Let's go.
Are paying us $950 billion, and they're happy about it. They're okay. As one of them said, it's amazing that we got away with it so long. One of my friends, a leader of one of the countries, and they're fine with it. They all signed. If that ruling ever went against us, I guess we'd have to give back hundreds of billions. We would have to give trillions and trillions of dollars back to countries that have been ripping us off for the last 35 years. And I can't imagine it happening. On a legal basis, they have no legal basis whatsoever. But on a common sense basis, it would destroy America. Okay. With Ursula? Well, she had an interesting, she's a tremendous woman. And so what are you asking me about her? They know it's concerned about. Well, nobody knows where it came from, but they did take away her ability to use a phone. You know, sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that could happen to me. I'd be very happy.
Reducing the tariffs on India from 50%.
What does that mean?
Are you considering taking away some of the tariffs that you've imposed on India?
No, we get along with India very well, but India has, you have to understand, for many years it was a one-sided relationship. Only now since I came along and because of the power that we have with tariffs, India was charging us tremendous tariffs, about the highest in the world. They were about the highest in the world, number one. And we therefore weren't doing much business with India, but they were doing business with us because we weren't charging them. Foolishly, we weren't charging them. So they would send in massive, everything they made, they'd send it in, pour it into our country. And therefore, it wouldn't be made here, which is a negative. But we would not send in anything because they were charging us 100% tariffs. And, I'll give you an example, Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson couldn't sell into India. There was a 200% tariff on a motorcycle. So what happens? Harley Davidson went to India and built a motorcycle plant.
Now, when it comes to India, see, India don't really take care of population because she depends on British. You know what I mean? On Britain and America. So, India, when it comes to India, they look out for America. But India does not take care of her population as you see China would take care of their population. See, China, you know, they really care about their population. But, you know, India, they don't care about the population because they depend on Britain and America. Let's go.
And now they don't have to pay tariffs. Same thing as us. So what we're doing is literally thousands of companies are coming into the U.S. Car companies, AI, but you know, more traditionally car companies. We have so many car company factories under construction or being designed right now, and they're coming from China. They're coming from Mexico. I must tell you, they're coming from Canada. A lot of them coming from Canada, but they're coming into our country because they want to build here, and they want to build here for two reasons. Number one, they'd like to be here, and number two, the tariffs are protecting them, and number three, they want to avoid paying tariffs. When they build their cars here, they don't have any tariffs to pay. You know, when you build here, you don't have any tariffs.
Mr. President, in light of the Minnesota shooting last week, the Department of Homeland Security is now awarding more than $100 million to hundreds of faith organizations across the country to help them ramp up security. What's your vision for further protecting religious liberty across the country amid incidents of threats?
So religious liberty is so important, and we're talking about every religion now, and we're doing.
You guys, when it comes to religion, you know what I mean? When it comes to their religion, this Christian nationalism. See, Christians, you see, they even fight with each other, rob and kill each other, but represent themselves as world peacemakers. You know, there has not been a Christian that you see will fight, rob, kill each other, but represent themselves as Christians, as the follower of Jesus Christ. See, when it comes to the great deceivers, see, the great deceivers of the world will reap what they have sowed. Let's go.
Doing things on that nobody else has ever done, and we're going to be announcing. We're going to be having a big announcement in about 2 weeks on that question. Yeah, please.
On the Space Command, sir, are you concerned that people may not be willing to relocate from Colorado to Alabama?
No, I'm not worried. It'll get somebody else. I mean, the problem with Colorado is they have a very corrupt voting system. Look, I have so many friends in Colorado. Anytime you have mail-in voting, you have corrupt elections. Very simple. It's very simple. Even Jimmy Carter said it with his commission. They set up a commission with him and Scoop Jackson and some people, highly regarded people. And they said the one thing, the finding was, if you have mail-in voting, you will have corrupt elections. Well, your radical left governor decided that he was going to have all mail-in voting in Colorado. Once you have all mail-in voting, and for whatever reason, the Democrats cheat. They cheat like, you know, they're not stupid. That's the only thing. They're no good on policy. They're no good at management. They're no good at government. But they're great at cheating. And they stick together. I give them credit for sticking.
Look, you know, I'm going to say like this. This is the worst president. You know, Trump is bringing back the Hitler days. I ain't never seen Trump, you know what I mean, sending National Guards into the streets where, you know, yes, we got a lot of things going on. But this thing, if we look outside, you know what I mean, it's like, why do American people is in a position where we always was never treated in a way? I want y'all to really listen, because there's a lot of YouTubers I see how white people's fears of why, you know what I mean, black people don't have things coming their way. But see, one thing we had never argued about the condition of our life we live. A lot of us live through poverty, Section 8 thing. We never show no kind of side of bitter or anything. Most of y'all live in the suburbs, and most of y'all was able to. There was times where when you get public assistance, there's a lot of things you can get that a lot of people won't know. There's always a lot of resources. People would get all kind of different vouchers for things. And I'm not here to shame anyone, but we know, you know what I mean, the condition of people through poverty. We know in the South, right in the South, are poor people living through the bad conditions. You know what I mean? Boarded places stinking. You know what I mean? Children's walking, suffering from malnutrition, all behind of a lack of the medical attention. You know what I mean? Children is suffering from disease through cold and weather conditions, all behind the devil that want to do all the ill he possibly can against the people that served him for over 400 years. There's killings still happening in the South. There's lynching days that still happen right in the South. America got so much blood in their hands that, you know, at some point, you know what I mean, you should be quiet about saying anything about anyone, about who can't come here, who's not welcome here. I think the world need to be noticed. That these people should have anything to say. You know, there was always a saying that our grandmother said, if it's nothing good you have to say, don't say it. There's always that saying that we get from our grandmothers. You know, Luke 6:31 says, do to others as you want them to do to you. Treat others as you want them to treat you. And I think people is waking up seeing that people is not treated the way that the next, you know what I mean, person may be treated. This whole thing here got to be straightened out. This is why God comes, to straighten out this crookedness and to move this wicked, rubbish, wicked, you know what I mean, right race of people. Now, I gotta say things the way I gotta say, because if I don't say, then who will? Now, I don't have no hate, but we hate what's evil. And evil is like evil, it always got to be spoken of. And Jesus says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set us free. So I say this to you. Thank all you guys for tuning in. Because I say this, shall no weapons formed against you shall prosper. And if God is for us, who could be against us? Who can separate us from God? So I say this, seek refuge in God in such time as this. Because God is here to restore all things. And all things, including the old world, must come to pass. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Till next time, peace, shalom, assalamu alaikum.